what?
Yep.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Man United Agenda. And it is Monday night. Ronaldo has flown back to Old Trafford. Also, the main story is Gary Neville has come out and said De Jong needs to get some advice on his contract situation at Barcelona at the moment. So, guys, welcome to the channel. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Man United Agenda. And it's Monday, and it is that time again. The weeks just go so quick. It's been absolutely hammering down with rain and a bit of sunshine as well. But listen, guys, we've got a beautiful panel with us today, even though we can't see Rebel's beautiful face today. He's been celebrating his own version of the Champions League over the weekend. And he's made it to come and join us tonight. So, as always, though, we've got a Monday. Welcome, sir. How are we doing today?
Yeah, I'm really good. Unbeaten, undisputed, just like our tour at the moment. And we keep punching. It's like a world tour, isn't it? It's like Muhammad Ali going around the world and taking on all challenges. And we've been to Australia, we've been to the Far East, and now we're taking it to Norway and Old Trafford this weekend. So it's on. We keep marching on. And we've got like, what do you call it? Like your tour bus, or you got the Paxton Road. It's not Paxton Road, the Stretford Paddock. Following Man United's round, which is really brilliant. And we're going to do that one day, guys, when we get big and grow up, we're big boys. We'll be doing that too. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the football, really getting excited. You turn up the temperature now with Ten Hag. Everyone's falling in love with him. And as I said, I'm a disciple, and you're all welcome.
Brilliant. And you know what's funny, yeah, because obviously on Monday you're very taller than all of us here. But now you just mentioned it's like Big, that film Big, isn't it? Where me and Pat and Rebel, we need to sort of go into that little machine, innit, and make that little wish to become bigger.
We're talking about height, yeah?
Yeah, we definitely talk about height. Definitely talk about height here. Definitely talk about height. Pat, as always, welcome back to the channel. How are we feeling today? You actually tag team today with Mr. B, haven't you?
Yeah. Mr. B has asked me to step in. That's no problem at all. Anytime I can help out.
Brilliant. And Rebel, sorry, I'll stitch you up there a bit about you partying hard last night and with a little bit of headache and stuff. What remedy did you take sort of like to get yourself back to join the agenda tonight?
Well, I followed in the footsteps of many sporting personnel, and I got out the Dorite sachet. I chucked it into a glass. Then I downed a can of Lucasade and a few Jaffa cakes, and the job was done.
Brilliant.
Here, Robbie.
Wow, Robbie, thank you, sir. Go on Monday if you want to hit
I'll take that if you don't mind, because it is a GA reference, and of course my beloved Kerry did win the All-Ireland, aka the cup that means more to Irish people than the Champions League even. But Robbie's from Dublin. He says, no need to read out, lads. Just showing my support. Up the Dubs, he says. Robbie, thank you very much.
Thank you, Robbie.
We'll see you again next season when we fight it out for Sam Maguire again.
Absolutely brilliant. But guys, if you're new to the channel, there's 14 in the chat. Just give us a hit that like button. If you again new, just give us that subscribe as well. Support the channel. Get us to hit this 2.5k. That is the next goal for the channel, guys, and we appreciate all the support you've been giving us. But before we kickstart all of that, I just want to say, everyone who has taken part in the Fantasy Football League so far, massive appreciation. I've surprisingly been told today there's 49 people. So with 49 people in, I'm pretty certain we can get this number a bit higher, can't we? Surely. So guys, if you would like to join it, take a screen grabber quickly of the code, which is 1CZLY1. And I know sort of me and Talk was having a conversation about it today. And I think Talk's going to finish bottom of the league. I honestly believe he will. Forfeit time, guys. Forfeit. So make sure you got it ready. I can't finish bottom, seriously. But guys, that is the league for the fantasy. And remember as well, we need to put the code in for the head-to-head as well, which you go against each other. And basically, it's almost like the FA Cup, isn't it? Or League Cup. Am I right in saying that, Rebel?
Yeah. With the the fantasy football. We are going live tomorrow, making our debut. We are going to be talking all things fantasy football, including troubleshooting, Random FC, which is a team that has been submitted to us by a panel of experts, and we're going to have a look at it and see what we think of it and break it down.
I hope it's not my team, Rebel.
I can't be.
They said a panel of experts.
That's what I'm talking about. I think me and OMONDI, I was talking to you earlier, innit? Me and you picked that team.
There you go.
Oh, absolutely brilliant. But guys, we got some information from Gary Neville today, and obviously Gary Neville, ex-Manchester United player, legend at the club. But sometimes when he does sort of spark certain conversation, people stand up and listen to what Gary Neville is saying, or sometimes I think he's just literally nitpicking at certain bits and pieces. But I just want you guys, Amanda's going to read a quote from Gary Neville today and see what the panel all think, and also see what you guys think in the comments as well.
Okay, hi guys. So Manchester United legend Gary Neville has advised Frenkie de Jong to consider taking legal action against Barcelona for the way they've been treating him this summer. The Netherlands international has been repeatedly linked with Manchester United for most of the transfer window, with a deal yet to materialise. Sky Sports have provided an update of sorts on Man United's interest in De Jong, with not much progress being made on the club's target for the time being. Neville's tweet doesn't relate to transfer to Old Trafford in particular, but he believes the former Ajax midfielder could have a case against Barca for the way they're trying to force him out into a pay cut. Barcelona have just blown a lot of money on the likes of Robert Lewandowski, Rafinha in a busy summer, and it seems a bit rich of them to expect De Jong to help finance that by reducing his wages. The Dutchman has not exactly done anything to deserve a pay cut after always being a fine performer for the Catalan Giants. So Neville has a point, does he?
Yeah. So, guys, I'm going to come to probably Rebel with this one quickly. Rebel, does sort of Gary Neville have a point? And regarding Barcelona, obviously going out, getting all these new players in. Barcelona in a situation last season where they were very poor in the league. They did it with Messi as well, where they asked Messi to obviously take pay cut. Messi was going to take a pay cut, but the problem with Messi is because the amount of money he was on, there's some obligation in Spain where he couldn't actually physically stay at Barcelona. Now with De Jong owed 17 million, do you think he's got the right to actually take that money that he actually deserves? Or do you think what Barcelona is doing right now is almost like give him a new contract, but on a very reduced salary?
Well, I think, as you rightly pointed out, Messi last season, there's a rule in Spain, you're not allowed to enter into a contract that's less than 50% of your previous contract. So that was why Messi could not take a pay cut to the level that was required to stay at Barcelona. This season now again, we're seeing the whole situation being repeated with Frenkie. And I think Gary Neville makes a fantastic point with regards to the way that Frankie's been treated, because currently, as far as I understand it, there's 3 of the summer signings for Barcelona that cannot yet be registered because Barcelona haven't got the wage structures within the remit that they needed to be in order to register them for the new season. And they're currently pursuing Jules Koundé and trying to get a deal across the line for him. Now, we've seen in the last number of shows that we've talked about Frenkie being brought on as a centre-back and possibly being utilised as a centre-back in the whole Barcelona structure. But if they are getting this Jules Koundé person, it's not going to be a position that's going to be available for Frenkie. So Frenkie does need to take stock because he entered into a contract in good faith. There was offer and there's acceptance. And now Barcelona are seeking to renege on that deal. And even if Frenkie does not want to move to Manchester United, notwithstanding any of that, it is absolutely imperative that he does not accept the terms that Barcelona are trying to impinge on him, because they are starting down a line that could very quickly become par for the course. He is due that money and he needs to be paid what he's owed from the contract that he signed.
And OMONDI, obviously, for a player on the stature of sort of De Jong and what he brings as a footballer, I think mainly regarding it, it's Ten Hag main attraction. It's Ten Hag main signing at the club at the moment. But with this, what's going on with De Jong at the moment, it doesn't really seem like the player actually physically wants to leave Barcelona, but Barcelona is almost trying to get rid of him out of the club. But as a person, would you actually sit there yourself and stay there just so you're going to be either sitting on the bench? Because it just shows clearly he came on in the pre-season when he went to America and they played him at centre-back. And now they're going for Koundé and he's a centre-back.
Yeah, I just want to applaud our man Rebel. He covered a lot of points there, very good points, as with Gary Neville as well. I think what Gary Neville's trying to do is sort of push the man's buttons because everyone's looking for reaction. It's like, how many times can you prod the lion before it wakes up and explodes and roars? And I think I wonder, how does Frenkie de Jong feel today? How does he feel with everything he's been going through and everything he's reading in the media and the way the club are treating him? You know, on the outside, they're saying things that put them in a good light. But you know, there's financial issues and they're saying, yeah, we like you, but there's always a but. And I think you need to go somewhere where you feel valued. As in the words of Cheers, you want to go where everyone knows your name, you know? So when he comes in to Old Trafford or to training, whereas they said Norm or whatever, when you say Frankie, he get that kind of love, like Cheers, you know? I believe that's what you need to go somewhere. It's like when I turn up on the Man United agenda, it's OMONDI, you know, and everyone, you get embraced, you feel loved, you know, Pat Lawless will buy me a pint, and we have a little laugh and joke. But it's all about, but you don't want to work somewhere where you don't feel loved, do you? Or you don't want to be with a missus or a woman where you don't feel loved. And I think the same applies to Frankie. So I think he must be feeling really low at the moment. Obviously, he's a great player. He's 25 years old. He's in his peak. And suddenly he's at a club that he wanted to be at, and they're treating him like this. It's really sad. Sad state of affairs. And like you say, no money, but they're bringing in other players as well. This is disappointing. So if I was Frankie, I would actually listen to what Gary Neville's saying and start being a lion, start to roar and start to demand something, show some sort of, it is being professional, but maybe go on the legal side of things and say, this is wrong. You know, please do something about this. Change this. I want my money. I want my effing money or whatever. Start to be a bit, otherwise you're going to get bullied and walked all over. My late father, always said to me, you know, you're Forbes, you got to have a name, respect, you got a reputation. No man can walk all over you. They do it once, they continue to do that. So that's how I walk around. No one's going to, you know, I'm friendly, I'm nice, but if you test me or something, I will show you that you have to respect me. And I think it's got to the point now where Frankie should take that advice and say, start to put his foot down, say, enough's enough. I want to go to Man United where everyone knows my name and I feel loved. And that's the end goal, I believe, of this whole saga with Frenkie de Jong. He's going to end up at Man United.
Yeah, and I'm going to Pat now. Pat, obviously, Armando brought some good points about sort of reputation and sort of his name and stuff like namesake. But is it a case of, obviously, Barcelona want the player to go, but it doesn't seem like the player physically wants to leave Barcelona? And for mental health awareness and things like that, what sort of destruction that can be done to a player sort of very young as well? What could that mean for him as a player, not actually getting what he wants, not getting a move he probably wants as well?
The way this all looks to me at the moment now, it's all about financial gain and who comes out on top at the very end of it. And it is a saga. When was the last time we seen Frenkie de Jong actually do an interview? I think it was a month ago during international break. And I don't believe that, I haven't seen it unless somebody else has, but I don't believe he's done an interview since about a month ago. It was the start of the month, I believe it was the 11th of July when Richard Arnold went over there as well. So that was the last time Manchester United have had a real interaction with Barcelona. So what it feels like to me, and the way it is in the making at the moment, is that Manchester United have gone as far as they can go. Barcelona aren't willing to pay his wage. Manchester United aren't willing to pay to release him. And we kind of touched on this before on a couple of podcasts, and we were saying that Frenkie de Jong, his agents, are saying to him, just sit back, Frankie, go along with the show, play the game. We're going to play it on our side, and they're going to play it on their side, but just go along with it. Keep your mouth shut, keep smiling when everybody sees you, and just keep going. And that's what Frenkie de Jong is doing at the moment. He's not coming out in public going, they're dropping me out of midfield. They're asking me to take a pay cut. They have me playing in defence. He just keeps standing there smiling. Yeah. And he's just going to keep on going along with it. And Barcelona are doing exactly the same. Laporte keeps dropping out the odd tweet. Now all of a sudden, Savic's coming out and saying a few things. They're not being cruel. They're being a little bit cruel, but a little bit kind at the same time. They're just going to be. It's going to be this way with Frenkie de Jong, and I don't believe he's going to leave Barcelona in this transfer window. I believe it's going to get a bit uglier over the course of the next few weeks and months, and he's going to get eventually a stage where he's sitting on the bench doing nothing, and it might be January before he gets his chance to leave. But if this is what he's willing to do, along with his agent's decision to get financial gain, well, I don't really believe that mental health comes into it. If mental health was becoming an issue, well, that's up to Frenkie to pull the plug and say, here, Mr. Agent, Ali Dorson and his other compadre, I've had enough. I can't deal with this anymore. I'm not comfortable in my own skin. I'm not enjoying myself in the club. It's time to go. But at the moment, it doesn't feel that way with the way I'm watching it unfold for Frenkie de Jong. So I do feel that he's sitting back with a grin on his face and he's going to let it unravel, should I say.
I love it, Pat. A grin on his face. I'm not sure if I could see a grin on his face.
Well, I would have got 17 million, I can tell you that. I'd be like that coming to the airport.
No, but again, you see pictures today of Manchester. Eriksen is out and about and it's absolutely lashing out for rain. So Frenkie is probably sitting there thinking, I'm not sure about Manchester at the moment, mate. You know, have a couple of margarita and sitting and chill on the beach.
What's the weather like in the Netherlands for Ajax? Where he came from originally.
Summertime probably now, isn't it? I'm not sure. If anyone knows the temperature out there, the weather out there.
It's about the same as England, is it? It's not like
it's not tropical.
No, it's definitely not tropical.
So he'd be what I'm saying is he'd be used to it. Average weather. It wouldn't be. Sorry, Rob, go ahead.
Can we just say as well that it's important to note that this renegotiation is a renegotiation of a renegotiation. He's already taken a restructuring of terms when he agreed the current contract to backload the payments that he would have been due normally. So in essence, he's been paying for a salary that has been less than what he would have been due normally under the terms of his contract. And now that is coming to fruition. And I think there's a second graphic solo on...
we're going to have that up as well now. So
I think we should just do comments quickly because they're in demand.
Yeah, actually there is. And I was going to say this as well. I know 007 just came onto that, but I've got that written down as well because I wanted to talk about PK. And there was something today that's saying about PK. They're trying to force PK to retire as well. Because they're owed money.
Does anybody know on the panel or in the comments what players are owed what money? I'd love to know that.
Yeah. Because it seems like a theme that Barcelona does, though, every season, doesn't it? It's a theme. They do.
Yeah. It's only PK and Frenkie that I know about are owed a few, Bob.
Right, let's go through some of the comments and then we'll have the second graphic up afterwards. I'm on day after you, sir. All yours.
Andy Long said, I'm surprised the league haven't done something about the way Barca have been run. They seem to be more hands-on than the Premier League. Obviously, we've got the £5 money from Robbie Newman. Big up, man. Big up to Bill Badger, Thomas, Mitchell in the house as well. Brush is here as well. How you doing, Brush? Going to go to some comments about the topic. Gavin Ward said last week, bloody Gary Neville's jumping on the bandwagon. Remember, you guys, you heard it here first. He did actually want to say hi to one of our favourites, is FC United Forever. Said, evening all. I'm nearly live. Oh, almost. Yeah, so she just 5-10 minutes late. Doesn't matter here. Colin saying, Gary has a great point. Why should it be any different from any other employment? If we owed money by our jobs and they refuse to pay, we would take legal action. So there's a good response there. Bill Badger saying, surely Frenkie takes this to a court of arbitration. Anthony Herbert said, can everyone subscribe to Football versus Cancer? Good stream, a very good cause. Press the subscribe button. Yes, we would thoroughly agree. Excuse me. Bath Time saying, I cannot believe Frenkie de Jong is that much of a pee hole. We know what that means. Not to let Barcelona disrespect him on a worldwide scale like this. It's outrageous, he says. He also goes on to say, and then smiles for club photos. He's a clown, he thinks. I want to say hi to Ola Kunle. How you doing, brother? He says, folks, it's not just Frenkie de Jong that Barcelona owe deferred monies to. He isn't going to United. Your club missed the boat. So can you let us know, as Rebel was asking, or Pat was asked, who else does he owe money to?
Alaconde has a few in there when you get a chance to get to them. And
okay, brilliant. Bath Time saying he's vexed with Barcelona. Brush is saying the Frenkie de Jong thing is going to drag on all the way to the end of the window. Yawn. And here we go.
The guru.
Oh, yeah, the
right
guru.
right on cue, Vincent. So he's
Vincent.
oh my god, £10, 10 euros or 10
Big up, Vincent. Big up,
sterling,
thank you.
whatever. Thank you, Vincent. Now, Vincent, as you know, is our specialist Dutch correspondent that tunes in every show and always drops a few pearls of wisdom, things we don't know, because he's got the ear to the ground in Holland right now. So he's saying, I followed Frenkie de Jong for years. Very different character to any other footballer. No diva, nice and humble, and only focused on his dream. Neville's ideas is not his style, but even he has a breaking point. So that's a great insight into Frenkie.
That's very good.
Really appreciate your comment there.
Thank
from
you.
our specialist Dutch correspondent. Bath Time.
Just on
Sorry.
Barcelona briefly, I just had a look and they owe 126 million to 19 different clubs in transfer fees at present as well, on top of all the money that are owed to players.
And they're bringing all these players.
But bruv, there's no way I'm working for reduced wages, says Bath Time, let alone for free without a violent response. I cannot believe Frenkie de Jong is this much of a kitty cat. Andy Herbert saying, I respect OMONDI. I would even more if you have some veg for my allotment. Okay, come down. UK Strange saying, please, Frenkie de Jong as centre-back. Playing Frenkie de Jong as centre-back, he's laughing about that. That's hilarious to him. Gavin Ward saying he has got to play the game, hasn't he? So he's got to see out the political game that is. I think he's got to set a precedent, hasn't he, to take them to court. Amp Project, how you doing? Says move on. Sick of hearing De Jong. Plenty of other midfielders out there. Bath Time saying abusive relationship, just like Love Island. Want to say hi to Matthew Bassett. Matthew, how you doing? Yeah, Matt Barca playing the De Jong centre back while finalising deals to get Jules Koundé, as the guys are saying on the panel. That's so true. Emma Kay, how you doing? Welcome again. She's saying Barca really taking the P, and it's not just Donny Frenkie de Jong they owe money to, it's even they owe Messi as well.
Yeah, they still owe Messi quite a big loss.
I'm going to come down because you said Ole Kunle's got some. Dismos is in the house as well. All right, here we go. So Ole Kunle's got the facts. He's saying 55 million to PK's owed. Sergio Busquets, I think he's saying Busquets, not Baskets, is saying 45 million. And Fatty, the youngster, is owed 15 million as well. And I want to say hi to JP870P. How you doing? Hope you're well, bro. Welcome back. And FC United Forever saying, yes, Rebel, correct on wages. It's their version of UK common laws and Ireland's have. Applies to anybody employed in Spain. You can get an employee contract of less. You can't get an employee contract of less than 50% of your previous contract, even if she didn't finish what she's going to say. Someone's kidnapped her or something or hushed her. Oh, here we go. Even if it is a different employer. And Septar as well is saying, I have a feeling they're doing some shady work behind the scenes in Barca, because I don't think there's any way to be in debt for so much and then spend this much money. Yeah, so it's causing a lot of confusion. We appreciate Shopper Solutions as well. Shopper Solutions as well is saying, if Frankie takes pay cut, it will be an official simp. Big up Shopper Solutions. I'm going to leave it there because, there's
loads of comments, guys. And as I said, guys, at the moment, there is 44 in the chat, 45. If you're new to the channel, just give us a subscribe. If you're not new, just hit the like button. There's only 32 likes, guys. So just give the channel some support. And thanks to every single person so far who has donated as well. Really appreciate it. Guys, something we don't really utilize too much on this channel, you can become actually a member of the Man United Agenda. So just check out the information, guys, in the bio as well, and you can become a member of the channel. Let's go to the second part of the Frenkie de Jong saga. Monday, there is another graphic.
Okay, so Barcelona making an initial offer to Frenkie de Jong to settle deferred wages dispute. Frenkie de Jong was benched for Barcelona's last two matches on pre-season tour, and when he came on, Xavi shoehorned the Netherlands international in at centre-back. It seems like a backhanded gesture as Barcelona look to accelerate their moves and try and sell players. According to Miguel Delaney of The Independent, Barcelona needs de Jong to leave, but he has remained obstinate obstinate, in his stance due to being owed 17 million in deferred wages. Delaney adds that Barcelona have made an initial offer to try and resolve the matter, but that was still over 10 million less than the figure De Jong wanted, or is owed. It's also noted that Barcelona will be unable to press forward with the signing of Sevilla defender Jules Koundé until that situation has been resolved. Does De Jong really want to be playing a bit role at Barcelona next season? That's the question. Any sudden talk of him renewing the term sounds ludicrous when you consider how this club has spent the summer pushing him out the door. That's a really good statement there.
Quick one as well. Before we go into it, I just want you to grab this one up for us. Yeah, that's the one I was going to say, Amanda. Would you mind? I think Kevin is in you. I haven't seen Kevin before.
You see, we're on the same page here. This is how we operate. We're so fluent as a team.
Yeah.
We know what each other's wants. I know what you're thinking right now, Rebel. Kevin Murphy saying, hi, just before we say, hi, Kevin Murphy. And surely you're an Irishman with a name like that. But he's saying, I think he's trying to say, they owe Messi 39 million euros on unpaid loyalty bonuses. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I think we've seen him before, haven't we? We've seen him before.
Aussie T said, hi, it's my first time watching. I saw Lingard vaping at my party, and Adam Pete is my favourite player. Who's Adam Pete or Pete?
Let us know.
I don't know. Okay.
Let us know.
Sure,
and as I said, guys, at the moment, we are on track to get our first ever fantasy football. I think if we can try and at least get 60 people, it would be brilliant. So, guys, if you haven't yet joined the Fantasy Football League, it is 1CZLY1. And there's 59 people in 59 people in it already. So, guys, just sign up, get involved. It's a bit of laugh, bit of fun, and you win a trophy at the end where Mr. B is going to present a nice little shiny trophy. We get your name engraved in it, and we get it sent to you, no matter what part of the world you are in. Yeah, great, isn't it? Whatever happened, no, let's not. What I was going to think was the furthest we could send it to is Australia, isn't it? Mark Foster.
I would drive. We would take a tour, go on world tour, and we would get it there, no doubt. You'll go down. This is historic, guys. You'll go down as the original winner of this trophy and proving yourself over the course of a season on the Man United agenda, live in front of millions and millions, that you are the manager of the season in fantasy football. So make sure you subscribe and join Rebel tomorrow night at 8:30, because I can't wait. This is going to be fantastic.
It's going to be great.
So many good promos we're putting out for this. It's going to be big.
Actually,
go on.
Can I just pick up one comment real quickly, because bat time is pretty much summed up the way that I'm looking at this whole Barcelona quagmire, as I'm going to call it now. FC Barcelona will be forced to pay him 425k per week, 20 million plus in loyalty bonus, and an annual bonus of 5 million per his contract, and it would mean they cannot register their new players due to FFP. So, as we all know, not only is there the financial fair play for UEFA, there's also a Spanish financial fair play where they have a measurement of how much can be attributed in wages in a given season. So, in essence, La Liga has a wage cap, which is going to be rather problematic for Barcelona. And just to kind of pick up on the matter there, that it is reported that Laporta is trying to negotiate a exit fee. Like, if they've offered him 7 million, if that's really what's after happening, I think Frenkie de Jong needs to take a long, hard look, and regardless of how much he loves that club, has to ask himself, why are they disrespecting him in this nature? He done them a favour. He acted the good soldier and took the reduction in wages when they needed it and backloaded his wages, expecting that contract would be honoured. It is now not being honoured, and they are looking to supplement the positions that he could possibly play in with other players, and are spending money like it's growing on trees. And Frankie has been left sitting there with his hand held out, going, please, sir, can I have what's due to me?
Yeah, and I think you're right with what you're saying there, Rebel, because as a human being, and if something's owed to you, you physically want that, don't you? You don't want to sit there and hold on. My only problem with the whole situation is, and I think Pat said it earlier, he's probably just sitting there letting this unfold with a smile on his face, because obviously he probably would have gone through his lawyers, he was gone through the right channel already to know what the outcome of it will be. But for me, again, if he forces the move, they don't have to pay him. if he sits there and sit tight, they have to pay him something, because they can't just let it brush under the carpet and ignore it. All he's got to do is be intelligent and smart enough with his lawyers, his representative. We're not taking that contract. We're not taking the new signing. We're not signing no paperwork. I want what's owed to me, and then I'll decide. I'll move on then. Because I think also with this, I think Barcelona is trying to be cheeky to probably thinking Manchester United, something United on a Woodward would have done years ago, would have sat there and say, you know what, Barcelona, you pay him the 7 million and then we'll end up paying the 10 million. And I think now with the new people that's there with you, Murdoch and stuff, they're saying, well, no, hold on. This is a valuation of the player. This is what we're going to give you. Whatever happens then, you deal with it. Because I also believe, if I'm right to say, there have to, people in the comments just have a look. And if you know better than I do, I think Barcelona have to give Ajax about 15%, 10 to 15% of sell on as well.
And the other ironic thing is if Frankie does succeed or isn't successful and he digs in and he says, right, lads, let the terms of the contract fall due, that could honestly mean that Lewandowski, Rafinha, and all these other players that they spent so much money on could literally be ineligible to play. Could you imagine when the window slams shut and registrations are no longer allowed, having that much value of players and assets sitting there unusable?
I was just about to say that, Rebel, and that's a very good point. So, has anybody in the comments yet? When was Lewandowski planned to play his first game? I understand probably Christian from Chelsea can play because he was a free contract, was he? He was the end of his contract and you got him on a free. Kesse, is it Kesse the Euro chap you got?
Kesse is free as well, free transfer.
He was free as well, wasn't he?
Yep.
So was Rafinha and Lewandowski the first two players he brought in that he actually paid money for? Or was there signing on fees with the other two?
I'd imagine there'd have been significant signing on fees with both.
Signing on fee.
Easily 10, 15 mil, Rebel, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
A player, like.
Agreed.
Yeah, so like on the back of what Bartman said there, like I'm actually quick. I have to watch the next Barcelona game to see if any of these fellas are going to be starting or even in the squad, or does it count for pre-season and only comes into effect when the season starts?
It doesn't count for pre-season because they're not registered games essentially.
Right. So Barcelona are playing tough, keeping their cards close to their chest. Let this unravel and see how it goes before the start of the season. When does the Spanish league start? I know where it starts in like 12 or 14 days.
Theirs is a week after us. They're a week after us.
So they have an extra week on us.
Yeah.
Okay.
They finish a week. Yeah, so it's about a week roughly for us.
So it could get really nasty in the next 2 to 3 weeks now before the Barcelona season starts.
Yeah. Because our the transfer window as well, it's 1st of September ends here as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think their transfer window as well, I believe it's 2 weeks after our one as well. Their transfer window opened up slightly later than ours. So there is going to be quite a lot of interesting things going on in this. And I think the saga hasn't ended yet with Frenkie de Jong. And to be honest with you, it's a bit silly how Barcelona are behaving right now with the player and also what they're trying to do with Manchester United as well. So for me, we've just got to wait and see now. It's a waiting game, really. So, guys, if you are watching, you're new to the channel, 48 in the chat, just give us a subscribe and hit the like button as well. So we are going to move on to the next part of the show. And it is all to do with, where is the quote before I get told about the quote? Let's have a look. So, yeah, okay, you got it before I did. Right, on Monday, if you wouldn't mind. So
Sergio Milinkovic-Savic, we all know about him, Lazio player, Serbian international. Man United are in Sergio Savic, I'm just going to leave it as that, as an alternative, Frenkie de Jong. New boss Erik ten Hag has seen Manchester United squad in action and now has a fairly good idea about where he wants to strengthen his squad in order to bring success back to Manchester United. The Lazio playmaker has been brilliant since arriving in Italy back in the summer of 2015. Such has been his impact that he's been Lazio Player of the Year for the last 2 seasons running. Wow. His ability to play box-to-box midfielder like de Jong has meant that United have revisited an interest in him in the player. The 27-year-old enjoyed a superlative 2021-22 campaign, bagging 11 goals, 12 assists in 47 appearances across all competitions. Let me just repeat that. As a midfielder, 11 goals, 12 assists in 47 appearances across competitions. Wow, very good stats.
Very good. So we're going to go on to it now, Amanda, and I'm going to come to you first because it's a very good stats you're saying. He's been linked with Manchester United for the last 5 seasons. That's how long he's been linked with Manchester United. 6'3", age 28, as you said. He can play central or he can play sort of or attacking midfield player. Current valuation is about 63 million. Now, he's only got a year and a half left on his contract. So again,
a year and a half.
Yeah. His contract runs out in 2024. So about a year, just over a year. Yeah.
Oh, he's got 2 years left in his contract then.
Yeah, say 2. Yeah, roughly 2 years. Okay. So for me, I'm gonna point obvious with this. Is it a player that we need? And I know you saying in the statement there it says that he's won sort of the player of the year and things like for Lazio. But this season was his best season for Lazio when it comes to sort of numbers. So we're going back from 2015 when he first signed from RCK Genk. He signed from, and this season just gone has been his best season so far, running up. For me, I look at him being linked with Man United as a way of negotiating a new contract with Lazio. What are you thinking, Amanda? Is it a player that could actually come in, suit Manchester United system? Is it a player that you believe Ten Hag will be looking at? Because he's come under the radar so many times without,
Okay, so good player. I've always liked him. Big, strong, baller as well. Very good technique. And he drives into the box, does score goals. We've known this for a long time now. I don't know about this box-to-box midfielder thing. I don't like to label people like that. He's a good midfielder, all-round good midfielder because he's got good touch. He's got good awareness. He can pass. He can shoot. He can do a bit of everything. All this box-to-box stuff is based on him getting up, building with a part of the team play and getting up to score goals in and around the penalty area. Remember, they got the Ruiz guy who plays a lot deeper, so he can afford to play as a number 8 maybe, and that's how he gets his numbers. But he can play a lot deeper as well as in that Frenkie de Jong role, which is a 6, and bring the ball out from defence because his size makes him press resistant because you can't rush him. A bit like Pogba, is big guy, you can't get near him because he can just like push you off, weights you off in that sort of way. So really good player. 27 now, so he's at the stage now where his contract's coming to an end. He has to consider: do I move on from Lazio and go somewhere else to a big club, a bigger club? Sorry, say like the Premiership, and try to show my value there, or do I stay at Lazio and sign a new deal? He's obviously happy there because what happens in Italy. Even Crespo, remember the big deal Crespo years ago? He was at Lazio. He signed for Inter Milan for big money, 54 million back in the day when that was just outrageous, the early 2000s. So what happens in Italy, like in Germany, with Lazio top players like Veron, Crespo, all these players, they end up going to Inter Milan or Juve. That's just the hierarchy. That's what happens. And he hasn't gone because he's had a few injuries early in his career at Lazio. He was a bit injury prone. So that's always raised a question mark for me because a few years ago, he was valued at like 70, 80, 90 million, one of the top midfielders in world football, it seems, by value and stock. But that dropped because of his injury. Then I look at the fact that he hasn't been signed by Inter or Juve or AC Milan in one of these clubs. So that there's a few question marks for me. As you know, my focus is on Frenkie de Jong. But I do like the idea of having a bank of people that you can fall back on. And I think he would definitely be in that bank of people, that bubble of players that you can say, all right, Frankie doesn't work out. Let's try this guy. And it'd be an interesting signing.
Let's go to Rebel. Again, Amanda made some great points there regarding, obviously, if like he was probably a sought after player, the other club in Italy would have probably gone on to get him. And at the moment, Juventus, when you look at teams like Juventus, they're in a state of rebuilding. You also got Inter Milan as well, who's looking around for players. Why hasn't he gone to any of those clubs, or any of those clubs are interested in him?
I think the reason for that, and it's pretty kind of evident to see that he is a Lazio man through and through. this story is a story that, a bit like Nicolas Gaetan years ago, gets dragged out by the tabloids and the newspapers on an annual basis in order to cover dips in storylines from real transfer business. Look, there's no doubting that Savic is a good player. I did see Cullen mention that he does have injury problems, which if it was a viable target for us, that would be something that we would need to look at and carefully consider, because we've had problems with injury prone players in the past, and we haven't seemed to be able to manage them that well, because we do tend to lose them for periods of time. But the reality of this situation for me is that Savic is a player that was probably scouted by previous regimes. Those scouting sources are no longer part of the Manchester United think tank. They are not advising Ten Hag. There's different people that are conducting their own scouting reports, and they're building their own set of targets. So I think this one is unrealistic and quite possibly a bit of a media white elephant.
Yeah, and going on to that as well, obviously we're talking about his injury record there, Pat. You look at Ralph Rangnick when he came in, he did state about Manchester United and obviously the injury record and why we've got so many players that get injured so easily. You've got the likes of Eric Bailly, Varane as well, who came from Madrid and literally played the whole season, didn't really get injured at all at Man United. All of a sudden, Man United seems to have this case where they bring in certain players where they haven't done their check properly just to save themselves a few pennies. Now, is it a case like what Rebel said, it's just a story that's basically he doesn't really believe in it, or is it something you could sit there and say you could probably see this transfer happening if we do not get De Jong?
I believe that Matt George was still he still had Matt George still had toys with the signing of Martinez and Malacia and Christian Eriksen, where he's now fading out now, and is it Will Keane, one of the Keane brothers, is now taking over and finishing off what Matt George has started, because his contract is now ending up. So I think this one of these savage rumors is it's going to go away eventually, just like Matt George. So I can't really see us going for Savic, and the reason why that is, regardless of him being the big 6'3" monster and his nickname being the Sergeant, he missed 8 games in the 2021 season on 4 separate occasions. That's not something that we need as a Manchester United team that isn't the strongest in midfield. We need someone who's going to come in here and do the business. I think he's rated at currently around the 60 million mark. I don't know what we're touting for him. But if we're going to go for an injury-prone player that's gone for 60 million, why wouldn't we just sign someone like Yuri Tillman for the time being until we got the player that we wanted?
Or you bring through one of the youth players and just hold on to one of the youth. I'd rather see a youth player come through the ranks over us signing a player who's going to be constantly injured again.
Well,
that's the issue.
There will be a lot of pressure on that team next year, regardless of good communities like ourselves who are going to give Erik ten Hag and the team time. But I'd rather see somebody in that midfield who could take a bit more hassle on the chin than putting the youth player in there for next season, even though I would be only more than happy to see Savic, Iqbal or Jimmy Garner in there.
I'd love to see Garner in there. So that's me though.
I think we all would.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of Garner, I did see a report today that he's quite possibly open to actually being loaned out again. So is he getting information from Ten Hag that maybe if certain signs go their way that he mightn't be getting the game time, that he'd need to continue his development?
Also, just to add to that, I think what was said in the quote was that if he doesn't get the game time, which is going to stifle his development at Manchester United, then he would consider it. But he wants to play in the Premiership for sure. He's he sounded really confident in his statement as well. He sounded like he believes in himself now. That season at Nottingham Forest and the promotion has really sort of made him stand out and realise his potential. He said he played in a 6 and an 8, and occasionally a 10 at Nottingham Forest as well. And obviously he's on the cusp of the England team where playing in under 21s. That's the usual progression, isn't it? Like if you look at players like Gallagher and Palmer, who he plays with in midfield for under 21s, there. Gallagher, for example, is ahead of him now. So he's got to start looking at his future and saying to himself, I can't be stifled here, and he should be asking the right questions to Ten Hag. But unfortunately, he hasn't, because of injury, he hasn't had the opportunity to play 90 minutes, even though he's training a little bit now. So hopefully, in the next couple of games this weekend, we might see a little cameo from Ghana, and maybe he can sort of convince the manager he can stay and produce something for us this season. Because there's also rumours that Hannibal could be going on loan to a championship side. So that's someone we're ticking off the list for midfield. So we're starting to filter down the players, the squad, and bring it down to players who we think are ready, and other players who like Lerd and Hannibal who could be going out on loan.
Yeah, thank you guys. So Omondi, we're going to go through some of these comments now quickly, if that's okay with you, sir.
First of all, I want to go to my brethren, a good musical friend of mine, a guy that we've known from day one.
Fellow DJ.
Yeah, as soon as the channel Man United agenda started, this guy was there for us, embraced us, and Football United TV. Matty, if you don't know him, get to know him because he's one of our brethren and we're really close. He came on a road trip with us to Manchester to that terrible 5-0 defeat by Liverpool, but he was there with us, made a blog. Matty, friend for life, hope you're doing well. He said he loves the channel, best United fan base community ever. Love the endorsement as well. All right, let's get to some of these comments here. HD Gamers saying, would rather get AC Milan guys. Ball carrying skills are very similar to De Jong. Is he talking about Benfica or Tonali? I don't know, but let me know who you're talking about. Elias, how you doing all the way from Chile? He's saying Snyder 2.0. I'm talking about Wesley Snyder because similar things happening.
Yes, that did as well, isn't it?
Yeah, Emma K saying this has to be old news regurgitated. Talking about Savic. Colin was saying he's an injury-prone player. Gavin,
before you go there a second on Monday, can we say about Colin, guys? If you haven't yet subscribed to FTB Sports, go check it out. Colin done a really good podcast on it earlier as well, guys. So make sure you check that out as well.
Would that be at 7 o'clock every Monday at the moment?
At the moment, 7:30 on FTB Sports.
Okay,
yes.
All right, brilliant. I was on the debut show, by the way, just so you know, guys, for Colin. Historic for me. Gavin Ward saying, I like him. I would say Frenkie de Jong is more creative, though, talking about Savic. However, I would say Savic has a better engine, proper box-to-box midfielder, he's saying. Matthew Bassett saying, hasn't Eric said it's Frankie or no one? Bill Baggio is saying here, he's nowhere near level de Jong. It's rubbish news anyway. Bill Baggio again is saying, the closest player to de Jong is probably Verratti from PSG. Football United TV says, Paqueta, the guy from Lyon who used to play for AC Milan, Brazilian, is a phenomenon. And Arsenal are pouncing. We should look at this player as well. He's a midfielder, very talented, I agree. Andy Herbert saying, I've got to say Ten Hag is a good manager. He likes to talk to the players and not their agents. For me, that says a lot about what kind of manager he is. Thumbs up from him. Want to say hi to Fakor. How you doing? All right. Thumbs up. Straight back at you, bro. Big up. Back to FTB. Colin again, he's saying since 2019 up to last season, he's had 8 injuries, a few ankle, a groin, a tear, and abductor muscle knee inflammations as well. So our stat man, Colin, will tell you everything about the injury record. And I'm sure he will tell us everything about Mr. B's sickness record as well. Gavin Ward, which is really bad, by the way. Gavin Ward is saying, I'd rather go for someone young and hasn't been really heard of before, similar to Owen Hargreaves, who was injury prone. Anyone here and seen Drew Yearwood play New York Red Bulls? No, I haven't. Tell us more, Gavin. Tell us more, Gavin, about this player, Drew. And last one from me. 2 more, sorry, to go. Emma K is saying, I would like a player that's used to the Prem, as he would be easier and while training up the young ones as well. So that's a good point. Robbie Norman saying, what about Garnacho being late twice and dropped my Eric Ten Hag? Not good start from him. Okay, was Eric, so he's saying Garnacho was late. I heard someone was late and got in trouble. Statman, Colin, help us out, please. Anwar saying, guys, to be frank, I deserve to obtain membership here. Yes, you do deserve it.
You do.
Just drop your details and sign up.
Sign up.
Anwar.
Sign up.
You know what? Anwar's been here a long time. He does deserve. I mean, you're loyal Man United agendaite. So please do. Become a member.
Sign up. Become a member.
Get all the perks of being a member.
It's 99p. What is it? Where's Talk? Where's Rebel? Come on, help us out.
99p one package, 199 the second package, and 399, which is the total package which you need to get Lex Luthor.
Yeah, there you go. And that gets you 2 pieces of chicken and chips and a drink. Oh, brilliant. Guys, thank you all for watching. 46 in the chat at the moment. If you're new to the channel, just give us a subscribe. If you're not new, just hit the like button as well, guys. At the moment, I think there's only 32 likes and there's 46 watching. Doesn't cost anything to hit that like button, guys. So next topic we'll be going on to now. Where is the graphic for this one here? I'm going to call him Benjamin. I'm on there. It's up to you now.
All right, this is all about Benjamin Sesko. I'm sure many of you have been doing your research since his name's been highlighted as one of our sort of young guns to sign. You know, Man United line up Benjamin Sesko as a Cristiano Ronaldo alternative. Man United are preparing for the eventuality that Cristiano Ronaldo gets desired move away from Old Trafford this summer. Atletico Madrid appear to be the likeliest destination. If he leaves, they go for Benjamin Sesko of Red Bull Salzburg. That's in Austria. Sesko has began pre-season with 2 goals in 2 games, has attracted interest from Newcastle, Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, as well as United, according to Mundo Deportivo. The 19-year-old is valued at over £50 million. Sesko is considered an alternative to Antony. The Brazilian international Ten Hag worked with at Ajax. I don't know about that. As well as Stuttgart's Sasa Kalanovic, which is a 6'9", 6'7" guy, isn't he? Striker. All fit the kind of profile that Ten Hag wants from a young man to lead the attack. Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't necessarily anymore. That's why many believe him leaving for the pastures new might not be the worst thing in the world ahead of the new era at Manchester United. Whether he lands a move to Atletico or not, however, is very much up in the air at the moment. So this is all about the young, hot 6'4" striker Benjamin Sesko, and they compared him to Sasa Kalanovic, who's 6'7". They're trying to say that Ten Hag likes his big target men strikers.
Yeah. So quick one there. I'm going to go to Armando. I know you just read it out and you sort of, I'm not sure if you agree with some of the statement in there. He's obviously last season, 24 games, 5 goals, 1 assist, 19 years old, centre forward now. Is he someone we actually physically looking for, or is it, for me, looking at this and looking at this transfer at 19, I'd rather just play Martial up front, and that's me being open and honest, because 19 years old, he's going to cost the club roughly about 55 million. He's going to be costing the club at. He's not Premier League proven at all, so I'm going to use that as well. And where you got Martial or even Rashford as a number 9, where people probably sit down and say Martial isn't, but you can utilize them if Ronaldo was to leave.
Well, look, let's just put it this way. He's a good young striker, one of the strikers, but they've just sold their hot young striker to Dortmund, that's Salzburg. The Karim, I forget his name now, but hot young striker, they've sold him to Dortmund this season. So this guy was not as highly rated as the other young striker who's got a bit more first team football. And now he's going to be the hot buy. We were also linked with him. I forget his name, Karim something. I can't pronounce his name. But anyway, Sesko, 6'4", tall. He's good in the air. He's got good ability as well. He's sort of like Peter Crouch has defined the tall striker. No more of these Niall Quinn's Irishmen who just flick it on for little guys. They want to bring the ball down, have a bit of skill. Yeah, you've seen it all. Sesko, I don't think, like a lot of guys are saying in the comments, £55 million, a lot of money for a young guy. It's unproven. He's not like he's an ultimate sensation wonder kid. I think, but I think he's someone that they're identifying, as I said earlier in the comments, about a tall striker they had there with Haller at Ajax and Bobby B, the other big burly striker at Ajax, a focal point, someone who can pin down defenders. He's very quick as well, this young man. I've seen him on the speed stats. He can really go once his legs get moving, you know. And I'm here to endorse all tall people. That's what I'm about, you know. I think tall players can play. I was sort of always told I'm just a centre back, but I've got skill. I can do that too. So I endorse this young man. I think it's a good look to sort of open our eyes to other areas, other players as well. And I think a lot of people, because there's been so much news about it, a lot of people, fans, have been looking at him as well. And you can make your own mind up, because it's really hard to gauge in the Austrian league, for example. It's really hard to gauge whether he's got the physicality, because he's still a boy, looks a boy like he's got a boy structure about him, but definitely talented. Seen him use both feet, but we just have to wait and see. I don't think he should be paying 55 million because he's a player who could come in and wouldn't be ready until next season. Martial, like you said, Errol, would be the guy for this year. He would be backup. So if you're paying 55 million, you expect someone to be coming as a first team player, not 55 million for a youngster who could do well in next season or something.
Future prospect, isn't it?
Yeah, so a good prospect, good player. I'm not dismissing him, but I just think we need to be a bit more mindful. But I do like the idea that it's another one added to our scouting radar, which is proven to be a decent scouting radar these days.
Yeah, and let's go to Rebel. Sorry, sir, we left you in a corner. So, like what Amondi's saying, obviously 55 million is a lot of money for a striker that's unproven. And also, if he does come in, he's probably just going to be like a backup. In the Ten Hag system, is he a player that fits the system at all?
Well, when you think about it, and I made this point before, and I'm just touching it briefly again, Ten Hag managed to make Sebastian Haller an absolute goal-scoring machine. So he's obviously in the profile of player that Ten Hag would wish to utilise. Now, let's get real with these prices that were being quoted with the likes of Anthony and Sesko. Now, we're not playing with monopoly money here. We're not in the business of overpaying for players. And as has been pointed out by numerous people in the comments, this pricing is based off a season playing for Red Bull Salzburg. So he is yet to kind of come through the Haaland trials and kind of go through different clubs. As that Haaland went to Dortmund. He went for 10, 15 million or whatever it was at the time. Then he lit it up in Germany and he got his move to Manchester City. It's absolutely ludicrous that we would even consider that price tag, regardless of what he may turn out to be. The one thing I will say, though, is Ten Hag has mentioned on numerous occasions that we need a striker regardless of the position of one Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, Fabrizio Romano via David Ornstein has been tweeting today that Ronaldo is back in the UK and that he's looking for a meeting with the board, with Ten Hag, to discuss his future. And the narrative that it was put on it, it sounds like the board and Ten Hag are hoping to convince a change of mind from Ronaldo. But the players in question, absolute silly money, and that you need a lot more proven ability and security of investment to even consider paying that type of money for a player. This guy is very much early doors, and he's not worth it now, but he may be worth it later.
Okay, sorry guys, I'm going to interrupt. I'm actually trying to find something on screen here, and I can't physically find it. But Column, really appreciate Column's gifted the Money Agenda membership. Appreciate that. We can't actually see it up on the screen here, but really appreciate that, mate. Big up, Column. Big up. I have no idea. It's not here. I can't. Can anyone see it on their section? I can't see it at all. I can see it on my phone, but that's it.
I don't think it transfers over here. Probably it's just a YouTube feature.
Oh, okay. Right. So TalkMU, our director in the background, can you give us a bit of information about that, please, sir? Thank you. Pat. Look, thanks, bro. Yeah. So, go on. Sorry, Pat.
Going on about Sesko. Only this chap at this young lad, so to say, was only valued at 9 million back in the 27th of May. So how has he gone from 9 million to 55 million in the space of a couple of months, couple of weeks? So it sounds a bit hairy to me. I'm always up for buying young players and bringing them in, but at the moment I don't see a vast difference between this young lad and Charlie McNeil, except for the height. I'd rather work with Charlie and put our money elsewhere. But if he's being brought in to be bred in with the youth, I'd be more than happy to get him. But if someone's touting him for 55 million, it sounds a little bit crazy to me.
Absolutely. Okay. He gifted it to Emma. Apologies. So he's gifted Emma, I think, to become a member of the channel. I believe.
Sweet boy, I like a star, Column.
Sweet
like
boy,
I see you.
I see you. Edit why I said that. And also, just to give a heads up,
I want to have an accent like that. I wasn't going to embarrass myself and try and do it.
Yeah.
It would just come out like this. Wah.
Yeah, and Column as well. It just shown Column has been a member of the Man United first team player of the Man United agenda for the last 3 months. So again, you know, what we tend to do with the membership, you do get to come on the Friday night takeaway. But as you can see with Pat, Column, Matthew Bassett, and all those guys who are a member of the channel, they don't, and Thomas as well, they don't only get to go on to the takeaway, they also get to come on the feature shows as well with us. So that's all about being part of the family of the Man United agenda. And we endorse and, you know, you guys to go out there, become a member, and yeah, okay. And then we can actually officially welcome Emma as a member of the Man agenda now. That's what Talk is saying to me at the moment in the comments. Yeah.
Welcome, Emma.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you,
welcome, welcome. Welcome, Emma, from us. So, as always, we are going to go on to Monday and ask Monday his special task of the night. But before we do that, guys, remember, it's the launch of the fantasy football show tomorrow night at 8:30. So make sure you are tuning in. You will have Rebel tomorrow night hosting it. You'll have Column talking all things fantasy football. And I believe you've got, is it led? Who else you got on it, Rebel?
Is United Loader, I think is the name that he goes by on TikTok. So
TikTok, yeah.
He'll be making his Man United agenda debut with us tomorrow.
And he's a member as well of the channel.
Absolutely. And we're very excited to hear his views. Just to kind of give a little small, teeny spoiler, we are going to be troubleshooting a team called
Solo's team.
Not Solo's team. And we will be picking faults and holes in it in the effort to kind of prepare you for the upcoming season. And then Column will actually be hosting next week, which will be the week 1 preview. So tomorrow is going to be just a little bit of ground setting, giving you a few tips, kind of what to look out for. And like, for example, certain nuggets like defensive midfielders and utilizing them in, or maybe not utilizing them in fantasy football. So that's all to come tomorrow.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And before we go as well, any other business today from OMONDI? How are we doing, sir?
No other business from me. I'm quite content with how the business is going down at the moment. Blinkers on Frenkie de Jong. Let's get that deal done.
Excellent, excellent. And guys, listen, unfortunately, this is me done for the week. I will be back next week, I believe so. And yeah, the rest of the guys will be on the show, taking full control of everything. And I'm looking forward to going on holiday and taking some time away. But as always, guys, 41 in the chat. Make sure if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. If you're not new, you know what to do. Hit the like button, show the support. Would like to say massive thanks to Column today. Also, Emma, welcome to the Man United Agenda family. We would also like to say, Vincent as well. He basically donation as well. And who else made a donation? Vincent and Rebel.
Right. Before we close out, there's just one interesting quote that I just have to come across. Apparently, Barcelona coach Xavi has admitted that Manchester United and Chelsea target Frenkie de Jong can be sold.
Yeah, when they pay him his wages. And also, guys, as well, if you haven't seen the story yet, Ronaldo have landed in Manchester for crunch talks with Ten Hag. So let's see how that goes over the next few days, coming days, and see what the situation is around Cristiano Ronaldo. But guys, I'm Solo, OMONDI, Pat, and Rebel from us and everyone in the comments tonight. We really appreciate all the hard work that you guys put in as well by supporting the channel. And also would like to say a massive thank you to the panelists as well for jumping on, giving us their view for the last hour or so on the stories that surrounding Man United. So guys, what's this?
Bill says you can wreck the place, you're not around.
Oh, okay, yeah. Cause mayhem.
The other donator was Dutch Vincent.
Yeah, I've said Vincent, and it was the other gentleman from Ireland.
Robbie Norman.
Robbie Norman, yeah.
Thank you, Robbie. Big up. So guys, from us tonight, have a lovely evening. Good night. I was always saying in Jamaica, I'm not even going to say how we say it in Jamaican, but I'll end it there.